Hello and welcome to Dan's quick fixes and tips in Premiere Pro and After Effects. It's Sunday Fun Day today, and I was asked recently to make a logo that had a glitch effect on it for Just Cool Stuff. So here it is. This is the effect. So let's have a look and see how we're going to go about making that. So we're going to need to start with a new composition. And we will call this Dodge 2. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make our text. Okay, we'll come down to a line, we'll center it. Excellent. So now we're going to pre-compose that text layer. So we're going to go to Layer, Pre-compose, and we're going to call that text. So now we need to set up our RGB channels. So with text selected, we come up to Effect, we're going to come to Channel, and we're going to go Shift Channels. That brings up, let's make that the right size now. Let's make that better to look at. Okay, and now what we need to do is duplicate this. So we're going to hit Control D, Control D. We need 3 channels for that. Okay, so for my first channel, we're going to set that as red, take from red, and we're going to take green on full off, and we're going to take blue on full off. And we'll come down to our next one, and we're going to take red full off, leave green, and take blue full off. Okay, and guess what we're going to do for our last one? We're going to take red off, we're going to take green off, and we're going to leave blue. Okay, so we now have our 3 RGB channels on text. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is add those. So we come to our mode section down here. If your mode section isn't showing, you can hit this toggle switch right here. As you can see, that brings it on and off. So we need to change all of these to add. Like so. Okay, so now we need to set up an expression control. So the way we do that is we come up to the layer, we're going to open a new layer, and we're going to do a null object like so. And we're going to call that null object wiggle control. And I think what we're going to do is we'll just move that up to the top there, so it's out of the way. Okay, so next with wiggle control selected, I'm going to come up to Effects, Expression Controls, Slider Control. Okay, I'm just going to lock this off at the top here. You'll see why in a second. That means that this screen will stay open all the time when I select any one of these files, as you can see. Okay, so now we need to set up our slider control for all these individual channels. So the way we do that is we select our first text and we hit the P button on the keyboard to bring up position. And now coming over to the stopwatch in the corner, you need to press Alt, some people call it Option, I guess, but Alt key on a Windows laptop. I'm not sure what it is on the Mac, but anyway, it's Alt key and then click in the middle of that, and that brings up expression position. Now in this box here, before you do anything, you need to type in wiggle, open brackets, 20, comma. Leave that open. Come over to the link and drag that up to the slider. Now, before you close anything, we need to close the bracket here. So we need to add an extra bracket like so. Otherwise you're going to have endless problems with errors coming up, and it's going to take you hours to sort out. So please remember to add the last bracket before you close that. Okay, there we go. And thankfully we have no errors. So, quick footnote. Wiggle randomly changes your values. The value 20 here, how many times it will change your value per second. So we have 20 per second. Second control here, slider effect control, is linked to the slider up here, and that will set the value on how much you want it to change your value. Okay, so next we need to copy the expression position. Highlight position first. We're going to come up to edit, and we're going to do copy expression only. So now we're going to highlight this one, click P, and highlight this one, and click P. And then we're going to select that position, shift, select that position, and we're going to hit Control V. Now that's set up the slider for all three channels. Okay, so now let's place some keyframes on our wiggle control. So to do that, let's just bring up all. Let's bring up all the seconds at the top here by the zoom at the bottom, and we'll bring this slider over to 1 second. Okay. In this case, for the one that I want, I'm going to leave this at 0, and I'm going to click my stopwatch to add a keyframe. As I said, this is custom, so you can do it many different ways. You can add a value here if you want to on your first keyframe. You'll get the idea as you start messing around with it to make it your own. So now we're going to unlock our slider control effect so it's not stuck on that one all the time. So to access your slider on your timeline, we're going to highlight wiggle control, and we're going to press U. And that brings up our slider control and our keyframes. So now we're going to move this ahead by 5 frames. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to change our slider control to, let's say, 40 for now. You can make this any value you like. But this will demonstrate the way that I've done it. Okay, now we're going to go 5 frames ahead. And we're going to change this value again back down to 0. Make everything nice again. Okay, so now we need to add some distortion to our composition. So we're going to come up to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer, and we're going to call this one Distort. Oh, by the way, for changing the names of all of these, when it's highlighted, if you hit return, it brings up the text, and you can change that. Now with distort selected, we're going to add an effect to that layer. So we come out to effect, come into distort, and we come all the way down to wave warp. Now in the wave warp panel, we're going to change this to noise, and we're going to set our direction to 0, and that's made our distortion horizontal. Okay, so now we're going to add a keyframe to our distortion. So we'll come up to wave height, and we'll change that value to 0, and we're going to click on the stopwatch. We've added ourselves a keyframe right here. Now we're going to move on 5 frames. 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to change the wave height to 20, and I'm going to move on 3 frames, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to change that value back to 0. Okay, and finally, I'm just going to add a wiggle to my wave. Just adds a little bit of movement to the distortion. So control click on the stopwatch on wave height, and we're going to type in wiggle, open brackets, 10, comma. Now we're going to grab this, bring it down to the slider control, click on that, double click, and add our final close brackets to that. Now we can close that down, and let's see what we have. There we go. We now have our glitch in our title. Now you can change any of these parameters to suit yourself. We can change the wave width. We can change many things. So you can set it up and you can do your own custom glitch. This is the one I was asked to do, as you can see. You can make it blockier, you can make it taller, you can make it really way out. Have a play around, see what you think. Thanks for watching Dan's quick fixes and tips in Premiere Pro and After Effects. And thank you to Just Cool Stuff for asking me to do the logo. Check out their channel on YouTube. Have a great day. Please subscribe for more. Bye-bye.